As an athlete, there's one thing you're constantly being judged for, and that's your consistency. Think about it for a second. The consistency behind how well you use your strengths, the consistency behind your effort, the consistency behind your focus. Coaches are constantly making decisions based on this. And it doesn't mean that players who are consistent are doing anything crazy. They're just being more reliable. And that's ultimately, at the end of the day, the variable that every coach is looking for. And if you're like most athletes, chances are you've struggled with this in the past, or maybe you currently are. And if you are, telling you right now, don't worry about it. We're going to help you in this video understand exactly how to build consistency behind your own game. Hey, my name's Matt Calderoni, co-founder of Molliteum, where we help athletes discover and reach their true potential by building their resilience. And since 2015, we've helped thousands of athletes from the youth to professional level to build their resilience so they can get to their next level and be their best self. So, consistency. Let's understand this first, because I feel like a lot of people often get this wrong, where they think consistency just means knowing the actions and getting the results. Consistency really is an identity-based game. Here's what I mean by this. Like you can see here, your identity, or the person that you believe you are, is going to shape the perceptions that you have or how you see things, which is going to shape the actions that you take in certain situations and will ultimately shape the results that you get. For example, if I identify as a pro athlete, I'm going to start seeing situations like a pro athlete would, taking action in those situations like a pro athlete would, and getting results like a pro athlete would, aka there's consistency behind my actions because all I'm doing is constantly going back to that identity, right? What would the identity do? Where a lot of athletes get this wrong, though, is that they often come to us focused only on the result and say, what actions do I need to take? The truth is, though, you most likely already know the actions you need to take, you're just not doing so consistently. For example, you know you need to eat healthy to get a better result, but you're not eating healthy consistently. Maybe you do it for 1 day or 2 days, then you fall off on the third. You already know that you need to bring a consistent effort, but you're not doing so consistently, and that makes you fall off a couple days later. The point is, though, it's not about working at the level of actions to results. This is what 90% of athletes do. Where we see the most success with our athletes when it comes down to being consistent, and the truth is, like we'll dig in a second about the science, you have to work at a level of identity, meaning that you need to start focusing on who it is that you want and going through this process. So for example, let's pretend I do identify as a pro athlete, and that's who I've decided I want to become. And let's pretend I'm in a situation where I have to pick a meal to eat, where I'm at a team dinner. One meal that's offered is a healthy piece of chicken with, some healthy greens and some healthy carbs. Might not be that interesting, but it's healthy. And on the other side, I've got this super interesting type of pizza, but it's not that healthy for me. So I'm going to look at a situation, and where most people get this wrong is they say, well, what's exciting to me? What makes me feel like I want to do it? And that's usually going to be the unhealthy thing, or the option of not taking action. However, when you work at this level of identity and you say to yourself, well, what would the pro athlete choose? Now you're starting to work on your consistency, because it's not a question anymore of if you want to do it or not. It's a question of, what does the pro do? What would they pick in this situation? What would my identity do in this situation? Remember I told you, the perceptions. So in the meal situation, it's not a question anymore of, hey, the pizza's really enticing and it's unhealthy, but it makes me, excited to eat. Instead, it's, hey, the pro athlete would just pick the chicken and the healthy meal because that's what the pro would do. That's what my identity would do. And when you start approaching every situation like this, you're not going to see overnight results, but what you're going to start to see is little daily minute progress results that's going to add up to one big result at the end of it all. So think about it for a sec. If you now start mixing that every meal, you're just picking the meal that the pro would eat, and you're bringing in an effort on every single repetition in practice like the pro would bring, and you're doing those extra little stretching sessions like the pro would do. You add those little things up over time, and now you're building this ultimate competitor when you really think about it. But where most people get this wrong, like I said before, they're just focused on the actions, and actions often aren't something that's sustainable because they depend on willpower. And often when you're tapping into willpower, like the research shows, willpower is often limited. It's something that you only have a certain amount of, and then you need to recharge it. When you make your decisions, though, based on the person that you are, and it's at a level of identity, that whole willpower thing goes away. It's just a simple question of yes or no. There's no struggle anymore, right? There's no, oh, should I or shouldn't I? It's what would the pro do? Gonna do it. Okay, well, you might not feel like it, but you have to go through it anyways. Because like most people say, and like the studies show, success often happens after consistency, not necessarily skill all the time. That's why you often see some players who are maybe average in their skill. They're kind of every run in the day mill type of players, but their consistency is far greater than everybody else's. And because they have that consistency in performance with their skills and what they're doing, they're often the ones that are selected to be in the team. They're often the ones that are selected with more playing time. They're often the ones put in those trustworthy scenarios where the majority are often not, because they don't have that consistency. And think about it for a second as well. When you operate based on this level of identity, you're not trying to be somebody that you're not, meaning that You know what your strengths are and you stick to them. That's what a consistent player does. It's based on identity. You know what you're good at and you stick to it. That's what coaches want to see. And a real example of this is often the athletes we work with. We've taken so many different pro athletes now from a level of just, a mediocre run-in-the-mill type of athlete to being one of the top athletes in their sport at the professional levels, simply because we had them just be more consistent. Did we tweak anything with their skills? No, that's not our wheelhouse, but we got them more consistent on their strengths. We got them more consistent with the sleep habits. We got them more consistent with how they ate. We got them more consistent with their effort. The point is, though, that compound effect of consistency is ultimately what took them to the top. They're already in a level that the best are at. Now they're going to the top because they're consistently being the best at a level where the best are the best. Does that make sense? Now, this isn't just some kind of case study that we're looking at either. There's a lot of research to back this up. In fact, one of the most predominant studies done was with smokers versus non-smokers. Now, in the one group of smokers that were much more successful at quitting, they found that it was actually a shift of their identity. They went from being just a smoker who's quitting to one of the fittest people ever. So when you make a decision based on a smoker who's quitting, you're now giving yourself the option still to have that cigarette if that's the case. But when you're someone who's just operating based on being one of the fittest people you possibly can be, smoking's not even a question. And think about yourself for a second in your own scenario. If you're identifying as an athlete who's just, grinding all the time, or I'm someone who's always struggling, you're going to start seeing situations like that. You need to start practicing success though before it happens. Or what a lot of people say, fake it till you make it if you want. But the point is of that, and why you really need to start putting that into action, is because this is how you start getting success. Think about it. It's not that you just go and become a professional overnight or you make that next level overnight. What's really happening here is that those little compounded effects are what build up to getting you to the next level. And I did this myself when I used to play soccer. I'll never forget it. When I was 12 years old is really where I became a professional, but I didn't make it until I was 19, 20, meaning that I'll never forget in a house league final, I made a penalty shot save. The coach's son came up to me after the game. Everybody was cheering. It felt like a massive crowd at the time. It was probably only about 40 people. And the kid said to me, he goes, "So what? Do you want to become a pro now? Do you want to be a pro soccer player now?" And in my head, I was like, yeah, I do. So all my little decisions started being made based off that. Instead of should I or shouldn't I eat this? Instead it was, would a pro eat this? That's who I want to be? Yes, then I would eat it too. Would a pro treat, this situation this way? No, then I wouldn't either. It was that simple, but that compounded effect was ultimately what allowed me to make it when I was 19 years old. It was a bunch of these little simple decisions. It wasn't any more of, I'm an athlete who's struggling, or like the smoker situation, I'm a smoker who's quitting. It was, this is who I am. So if you're going to put this into play and you want to be more consistent, here's what you need to do. Number one, identify exactly who you want to be. Now, if you're saying, well, Matt, I don't know who I want to be, here's what I would say. Start with the results and then ask yourself, who do I need to become in order to accomplish this? So if you want to make it to the professional level, you need to start being a pro. If you want to score more goals, then you need to become a goal scorer, a top goal scorer, right? If you want to, earn an NCAA D1 scholarship, then you need to start doing things like a D1 scholarship player would. That's how simple this is. And once you identify these things, you just need to make sure that every behavior reflects who you want to become. So it's not a question anymore of, do I want this or not? That's not really the right question to ask. Instead, it's, would my identity do this? Would this person do this? If they wouldn't, don't. It's that simple. So to be more consistent, start with understanding who you want to become and just make every decision based on that. This has been the easiest, game-changing way for most of our athletes to go from just, average efforts or average performances to consistent performances or consistent efforts, because it's not a question anymore of, should I be Snapchatting before bed or should I be texting before bed? It's, what would the pro do? What would my identity do? And when you operate based on that, the willpower goes and it becomes a part of you. So if you got value from this video, please like, subscribe, click the notification bell. It helps us grow this channel. And the more we grow this channel, the better we can bring you more free content. And of course, if you do want to work with us at Molliteum here, there's two options down below. One, you can work with us on a pocket coaching side where you do work on your own. Or if you really want to break through and take your game to the next level, you can apply to work with one of our Molliteum coaches. It's linked down below. We only take people that we feel can really benefit from our programs, and most importantly, that we feel are ready for our programs. Some aren't. Some of you just need that pocket coach. Some of you need that one-on-one. Regardless, we'll be able to make the right decision. So with that being said, stay consistent, operate based off identity, and we'll see you in the next one.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch a full podcast episode, click right here.